am George Smith. I'm a volunteer with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, or the UNHCR. Welcome to the Osman II refugee camp in Turkey. There are around 217,000 Syrian refugees sheltered in the 22 government-run camps in Turkey currently. The UNHCR is tasked with supporting Syrian refugees in their voluntary repatriation, local integration or resettlement to a third country. The situation is even grimmer than it seems, as there are almost 2 million registered Syrian refugees living in Turkey inside or outside these camps, and even more unregistered. Follow me to experience the living conditions in this camp up close. Please come closer. We have reached a critical juncture. More than ever, refugees need our solidarity and support. Without a sustainable humanitarian response, refugees risk sinking deeper and deeper into poverty. Each day represents a monumental struggle to meet the most basic needs. While the security situation means returning to their homes in Syria is out of the question, their dependency on assistance is growing in parallel with the reduction of available funds. The World Food Programme has been forced to have its assistance to almost 1.3 million vulnerable Syrian refugees because of funding shortfall. Syrian refugees are increasingly working for below-market rates and even begging to provide for families. The lines at this food camp are long and the food vouchers are running out. Crime in these camps is also on the rise as the refugees are becoming increasingly desperate. Please come closer.
Please, sir, my son needs immediate attention. He has been throwing up since 2 days and has a fever of 104 degrees. Please let me speak to the doctor. This line is too long.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I really am. But we don't have enough doctors in this area and everyone in the line has an emergency. We can't give you anything except first aid if you don't get in line.
The main health concerns that currently face the Syrian refugees are respiratory infections, diarrhea, and skin conditions. Chronic diseases include asthma, diabetes, and cardiovascular conditions. Cases of diarrhea and hepatitis A have increased by more than twofold since the beginning of the year. Due to the fighting, the normal vaccination programs cannot be undertaken. One of the issues that is also being addressed is the problem of intestinal parasites. WHO is working with the Ministry of Health to implement a deworming campaign that will see 250 deworming tablets provided to school children 5 to 14 years of age. As the refugees are currently living in desert conditions where snakes and scorpions are also present, WHO and its partners have requested the delivery of anti-venom medication. Please come closer. Children affected by the Syrian conflict are at risk of becoming ill, malnourished, abused, or exploited. Syrian refugees are increasingly pulling their children out of school and sending them to work. Syrian children walk the streets selling flowers, shining shoes, or begging, sleeping rough at night and often abused by drunk bar patrons or bystanders. We currently have more than 5.6 million children who need assistance, some of them displaced internally, sometimes multiple times, and some of them are caught in the line of fire or are living under siege. Between 2 million and 3 million Syrian children are not attending school. The UN Children's Agency says the war reversed 10 years of progress in education for Syrian children. This is Abdul. He is 12 years old, and although he is one of the brightest kids in his class, he may soon have to drop out of school to help put food on the table at home. Assuming you were in a position of power, would you let children at risk like Abdullah along with their families to immigrate into your country where they may have a chance of a better life? The opponents to this move would highlight the security risk as well as the complicated task of culturally integrating them with the local population. It was great meeting you, Abdul. Thank you for taking the time. You should hear back from us soon.
It was great meeting you guys as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Abdul seems like a nice guy. Very smart, I must say. Did you know he came into this country with his parents when he was young? They were refugees from Syria.
The Syrians brought in some great talent with them. Some of our smartest guys are from the same background.
I am glad that our government decided to take in the refugees back then. It worked out well for everybody.
Well, that is true in our case. We always had a lot of diversity here. There have been cases in some countries where the Syrians had a tough time with the local culture or jobs. There was not much demand for the skills they had to offer.
I guess a decision like that comes with its pros and cons.
Hit return to experience the accelerated future for the alternate decision. Hit next to move on.
As countries begin closing their borders, the refugees at these camps are becoming increasingly desperate for a way out of their current situation. Reports are coming in that with no place to go and future prospects looking increasingly bleak, these camps are becoming a hotbed for radicalization and terrorist recruitment. Many countries fail to realize that by closing their borders they risk creating new generations of terrorists.
Hit return to experience the accelerated future for the alternate decision. Hit next to move on.
In this scenario you are a small gift shop owner, however your store is one of the most popular ones in town. Especially on the bigger holidays like Thanksgiving and New Year's, your shop sees a lot of footfall. You are faced with two options to fill the vacancy of shop assistant. On one hand you have Johnny, who grew up in this town and hence knows most of the customers personally. You have also known him a long time and are friends with his dad. On the other hand you have Abdul, who immigrated to your town some years ago with his family. Abdul is just as qualified for the role as Johnny. He is one among the million families who had to relocate due to the conflict in Syria. You must decide between these two hires before you may proceed.
Hey Johnny, come on in.
Hey John, how's it going?
It's good. I wanted to tell you how well you're doing with our customers. Many of them have told me how comfortable you make them feel and how they drop by just to say hi to you. That's really important for a small business like ours to have that connect with the customer. That is what ultimately drives sales and brings them back instead of just buying stuff online. Keep up the good work.
Thanks John, I like working here too. I grew up on these streets and I've known most of our customers personally all my life. It's nice to help them buy gifts for each other and help spread the joy in their lives. Thanks for the compliment.
Click return to see the future for hiring Abdul.
Hey Abdul, please come in.
Hey boss.
I wanted to ask you for a favor. Next week is Christmas Eve and I've read endless reports that there will be a huge spike in last-minute shopping on the eve of Christmas. However, I'm not sure whether any of the other employees are going to be available for this holiday. They all have plans with their families and are unable to run the store on that day. I believe that by staying open that evening we will be able to make about 20% of the sales for the entire year. Do you think you would be able to run the store on that one holiday? It would be a great favor to me and I will make sure that you are compensated for the holiday later.
Yes, I saw that report too and I agree it is a fantastic opportunity for our store. I am free this Christmas Eve as it is not celebrated in my culture or religion. I didn't make plans for the holiday luckily, so I should be fine to come in and run the store that day. I think by running the store we can help a lot of our customers get nice gifts for their families and spread the festive cheer. Don't worry, John. You can count on me to keep the store running and hopefully we can get an increase in sales.
Thanks, Abdul. I owe you one. Abdul, thanks so much for covering for us on Christmas Eve. I just went over the sales register and we did great business. The sales on the eve are around 25% of our total sales this year. This will definitely reflect in our annual bonuses. Thanks once again. Glad you could keep the store running.
No problem, John. Like I said, it wasn't a hassle for me. I didn't have plans for Christmas Eve anyway.
Click return to see the future for hiring Johnny.